All right, so we're looking at this beat up, broken glass panel. You can see the dent in the case here. This is an EVGA build. So this is, I think it's an EVGA motherboard even. I'm not seeing any real identifiers on here, but it's one I pulled out of the salvage yard. It was basically full of shattered glass. There's still quite a bit in it. Bits and pieces of other plastic stuff. You know, like right here we've got, this looks like part of a case from another computer. Probably a faceplate. And, you know, I wasn't real sure what all was going on here, but I did notice that it had, you know, quite a bit of potential. It's got a 750 watt power supply. It's got a nice graphics card, which, I mean, yeah, the card itself, the casing's a little beat up. You know, it's chipped, but there's no real damage to it. I think the card itself is fine. Other than having some glass that needs to be vacuumed out and some dust that needs to be taken off, it looks like, you know, by and large, the system's in good working order. It's got a liquid cooler on it, and underneath here, I was a little disappointed. I thought it'd be a nicer processor, but it's still a pretty good processor. It's a Core i7 2600K, so it's a little bit on the older side, but again, you know, most of what I look at is fairly old. And it's got Corsair RAM, Vengeance, so it's performance RAM, DDR4 if I'm not mistaken, 16 gigabytes. Looks like 4x4 sticks, so 16 gigabytes total of, trying to confirm it for you all here, 1600 megahertz. I believe that's DDR4. So, you know, pretty modern memory setup. You know, it's a nice case. It's got a lot of great fans in it. You know, it's got a Blu-ray drive, you know, multi-reader plus an external SATA hookup. And I don't know if there's anything in this tray down below here. This looks like a drive tray of some kind, but you know, we'll have to get in there. It looks like, actually sounds like it might be hollow and empty, but you know, aside from just some broken glass to clean up and a little bit of a case straightening job, I think this is pretty workable. And I don't have a ton of modern stuff, so it would be fairly useful, in all honesty, to, you know, kind of save this. So I picked it out, got it for my usual cost. I mean, basically it's going to get scrapped at the yard, so for me to take it on, I was thinking, okay, you know, why not? You know, I like the case. I love that it has a handle. I mean, it makes it easy for me to carry around. It is missing one of the rubber feet, but again, it's not going anywhere, so I can just, you know, put something underneath it to keep it level, basically. And it's got, you know, a lot of what I would ask for in a decent performing PC. So again, I'm not a gamer, I'm mostly a hobbyist, so in a lot of respects, this is just an interesting project I get to play with. So inside our tray of the case here, it's got quite a few screws and actually stuff like new in bag. You know, it's kind of unfortunate. There's a lot of extra hardware in here. Looks like, you know, some broken bits have fallen in here as well. But, you know, all in all, there's nice stuff in here. So a little bit of a bonus for me, because I do, as you can see on my table, save the majority of the hardware I don't end up using. You know, it's got room for expansion, but it's got a nice multi-card reader, you know, which is, for me, pretty handy. And, you know, everything on here looks to be in good shape. I don't see any capacitors that have been knocked around. Luckily, caps these days are so small, it's, unless you've got direct force of impact on them, you're typically not going to damage them or tear them off a board. And this Trooper case is kind of one of the most interesting ones I think I've ever seen. I've never seen a case with a handle, but it's not just a handle. There's like, it's meant to be carried around. It's got a nice grip to it. You know, the buttons, you know, they're dusty, but they're nice. Again, the external SATA hookup is cool. you know, it's got all the standard lights and stuff you'd want to see on it. But the big question was, you know, for a modern style PC, you know, do I go out and buy another copy of Windows 10? So I was curious, is there still a hard drive in this? So when I dug it out of the scrap pile, of course I had to look at the back, because traditionally these days in these performance cases, hard drives are mounted on the back side of the motherboard, and I didn't see one here. And just looking at the bays, I just see multi-reader, you know, I see some expansion ports, but unfortunately, no hard drive. Not all is lost news, but it does kind of leave a little bit to be desired here, because now not only do I have to put a hard drive in this thing, but I also have to put an operating system to it. And, you know, I know this build, you could probably squeeze a lot out of a Linux application with it. Honestly, you know, my heart of hearts, I'm a Windows guy. I'm probably not going to put Linux on this. This is probably going to get Windows. But we'll see. Maybe I will bite the bullet. Maybe I will decide, you know, hell with it. I'll buy a copy of Windows 10. I don't think with this particular processor that it's going to be able to take Windows 11. So, you know, this is just going to be a project computer. And at the end of the day, if I decide, you know what, hell with it, I'm not gonna bother with it, I find something else, I can always use this case. Again, it just really needs to be straightened out. I don't need the back panel. I don't need, you know, the fancy glass on the side. Just a really cool find. And if I'm being completely honest, I have to say it's probably one that whoever threw this away and treated it the way they did, it's really a disservice to this hardware. And, you know, it's kind of one of the sadder things that I've seen at the recycler is just, you know, what is really, truly an awesome PC that, you know, a hobbyist or somebody who can't afford the latest gaming PC, you know, would have probably paid a decent amount of money for. Somebody just tossed in a scrap heap. So, you know, I hate to bring sort of a tragedy to video, but I had to share this one. We'll be doing more with this, either trying to rebuild it or trying to get it running. First, of course, I got to clean up all the broken glass. I mean, you can see there's bits of plastic and glass all over this thing. That'll be the first real big endeavor. And I do have, for my last trip to the scrapyard, one more PC for us to look at before my next trip out there. And that's the last case I have. I do have another complete PC, but there's no case to it. So really got two more computers to show off at some point here. But just wanted to make sure we gave this some love because, again, I think it's a cool case. It's a shame I don't have the complete case. But I think there's a lot of good bones here and a lot that we could use this for. And honestly, it's one of the upper tier PCs that I have now in my collection. So that being said, if you enjoyed this video, or if you have any suggestions of what I should do with this build, I am very open to hearing that. I do respond to all comments that come through my channel. If you're not a subscriber, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, stay up to date with us. I'd love to hear your thoughts on future videos if you don't have any right now, and certainly would like to deliver more content out to you and to any viewers that come along. And one way I can do that is by gaining more subscribers. And if you did like this video, make sure to hit the like button and let me know. Again, all that stuff just helps me out, helps me make those trips to the recycler, justify what I'm doing, and continue to deliver quality retro and modern computer content. Thanks again for your time. Have a great rest of your day.